The huge silver ship appeared in the sky without warning. One day, the people of Earth were going about their normal lives. The next day, a vessel larger than any building on the planet hung above them. Jun Kim looked up at the night sky from the roof of his apartment in Seoul. He was 32 years old and had spent his life studying animals. As the top animal scientist in Korea, he had seen many strange things, but nothing like this. "Are you watching the news?" His phone buzzed with a message from his friend Ara. "Yes. I cannot believe it," Jun replied. The aliens called themselves the Galactic Federation. They said they had been watching Earth for hundreds of years. Now they wanted to talk. World leaders met and picked a team to meet the aliens. They needed people who understood different forms of life. Jun was surprised when the Korean government called him. "Dr. Kim, your work with unusual sea creatures makes you perfect for this team," the official said. "You can talk to the aliens about Earth's animals." 3 days later, Jun stood in a line with 20 other scientists from around the world. They waited to board a small ship that would take them to the big alien vessel. Ara stood beside him. She studied plants, but today that didn't seem important. They were about to meet real aliens. "Are you scared?" Ara whispered. Jun nodded. "Yes, but also excited." The small ship had no pilot. It moved by itself up to the giant vessel. When the doors opened, Jun took a deep breath of air that smelled like cinnamon and salt. 3 aliens waited for them. They stood on 2 legs like humans but had blue skin that looked like it was covered in tiny scales. Their heads were wider than human heads with 4 eyes spaced around them. "Welcome," said the alien in the middle. Its voice came from a small box on its chest. "I am Ambassador Krell. The Galactic Federation is happy to meet you officially." Jun and the other humans followed Ambassador Krell through hallways that seemed to go on forever. The ship was a city in space. Aliens of many different shapes and sizes walked past them. Some had many legs, others floated in the air. Jun tried not to stare. "The Federation has 17 different intelligent species," Ambassador Krell explained. "We have worked together for over 10,000 years." They arrived at a large round room with a table in the middle. The walls were made of some kind of glass that showed the Earth below. "We have watched your planet for a long time," said Ambassador Krell. "Your species has grown quickly. We believe you are ready to join us." The humans asked many questions. Most wanted to know about alien technology, space travel, and weapons. Jun was quiet until Ambassador Krell mentioned something called the Galactic Archives. "What are these archives?" Jun asked. "The collected knowledge of all Federation species," Ambassador Krell replied. "Everything we know is stored there." "Including information about Earth?" Ara spoke up. "Yes, we have studied your planet for centuries." The next day, while most of the human team discussed trade and technology with the aliens, Jun and Ara asked to see the archives. A smaller alien with 6 arms led them to a room filled with strange curved screens. "You may search for any topic," the alien said. "The system will translate for you." When the alien left, Jun and Ara looked at each other. "What should we look for first?" Ara asked. "Let's see what they know about Earth's animals," Jun suggested. He touched the screen and spoke clearly. "Show information on Earth wildlife." The screen filled with images and text. As Jun began to read, his eyes grew wide. "Ara, look at this," he said. "They have warning symbols on almost every animal." The archives showed common Earth animals with red marks and danger signs next to them. Dogs, cats, bears, snakes, birds, even some insects were marked as dangerous. "This says Earth is classified as a death world," Ara read. "What does that mean?" Jun found the definition. "A planet with unusually dangerous life forms or conditions. Extreme caution advised." They looked at more files. The archives had detailed information on every Earth animal. But the descriptions were strange. Common animals were described as terrifying dangers. About dogs, relentless pursuit predators that bond with humans, will chase prey for many miles without stopping. Sharp teeth and strong bite force, extremely territorial. About cats, silent ambush hunters with perfect night vision. Can jump 5 times their height. Hide their claws until attack. Unpredictable behavior. About honeybees. Flying venomous creatures that build large colonies. Will sacrifice themselves to attack threats. Communicate through dance. Humans keep these dangerous creatures for food. June laughed. They think our normal animals are monsters. Look at this. Ara pointed to a note about bears. It says most Federation species evolved on worlds with no large predators. Their home planets have smaller, less dangerous animals. June was about to reply when alarms started blaring throughout the ship. The screens flashed with red light. Ambassador Krell rushed into the room. We have received troubling news, the ambassador said. The Vraks have declared war on the Federation. Who are the Vraks? June asked. A hostile species from beyond our territory. They have conquered many worlds already. Ambassador Krell's 4 eyes blinked rapidly. And according to our intelligence, Earth is their next target. Why Earth? Ara asked. We just learned about aliens today. The Vraks believe your world will be easy to conquer. They think humans are primitive because you have only basic space travel, the ambassador explained. They don't know Earth is a death world. June thought about what they had just learned from the archives. Your people are afraid of Earth's animals, aren't you? Ambassador Krell's skin changed color slightly. Most Federation species would never survive on your planet. Your wildlife is terrifying by our standards. Could that help us against these Vraks? June asked. Perhaps, Ambassador Krell replied. The Vraks come from a world similar to Federation planets. They have never encountered creatures like yours. The ambassador led them to a meeting room where the other humans had gathered. On a large screen, they could see ships, hundreds of them, moving toward Earth. The Vraks will arrive in 3 months, Ambassador Krell announced. We will provide what help we can, but your planet must prepare to defend itself. As the room erupted in worried voices, June looked at Ara. An idea was forming in his mind. If aliens think our dogs and cats are scary, he whispered, wait until they meet our lions, sharks, and crocodiles. Ara nodded slowly. We need to tell everyone about what we found in the archives. Yes, June said. Earth's best weapons might not be guns or bombs. They might be the animals that had lived alongside humans for thousands of years. 3 months passed quickly. Earth's governments worked together to prepare for the alien attack. They built new weapons and trained soldiers. But June and Ara spent their time telling people about what they had learned from the Galactic archives. Earth's animals are our secret weapon, June told military leaders from around the world. The aliens have never seen anything like them. Some people laughed, others listened. A few began to make plans. In Kenya, a man named Hyun Park watched the cloudy sky. He was 40 years old and had once been a soldier in Korea's special forces. Now he worked as a wildlife ranger in a large animal park. He protected lions, elephants, and many other animals from hunters. When the government told people to leave the area because of the coming aliens, Hyun said no. I will stay with my animals, he told his boss. They cannot run away from the aliens. They need me. His boss did not argue. Many people were staying behind to fight. Hyun sat on the roof of his jeep with his binoculars. Next to him was his dog, a large German shepherd named Max. They are coming today, Max, Hyun said quietly. The aliens will land soon. As if answering him, the clouds turned red. Strange lights flashed across the sky. Then Hyun saw them, huge ships breaking through the clouds. 1, 2, 5, 10 ships, too many to count. 3 of the ships flew toward the animal park. They were dark gray and shaped like giant bugs. They landed about 2 miles from Hyun's position, crushing trees under them. Hyun picked up his radio. Alien ships have landed in Section 5 of the park, he reported. I am going to watch them. Be careful, a voice answered. Do not let them see you. Hyun drove his jeep closer, then parked behind some trees. He and Max walked the rest of the way. From behind a large rock, Hyun watched as doors opened in the alien ships. Strange creatures walked out. They looked a bit like the Federation aliens, but were taller and had red skin. They wore shiny black suits that covered their whole bodies. The Vrak soldiers carried guns that glowed green. About 50 of them formed a line and began to march away from their ships. Hyun took pictures with his phone and sent them to the government. Then he noticed something. The Vraks were staying in a tight group. They looked nervous. Their heads turned quickly at every sound. "They are afraid," Hyun whispered to Max. "They don't like this place." Just then Hyun heard a deep sound. He knew that sound well. Lions. A pride of lions had been watching the aliens. There were 7 of them, 1 male with his large mane, 4 females, and 2 young males. They were hunting. Before Hyun could do anything, the lions attacked. They ran at the aliens from 3 sides. The Vrak soldiers screamed. The noise came through speakers on their suits and sounded like metal being torn. They fired their green guns at the lions, but they were panicking. Most shots missed. 1 lion fell, hit by the green beam. But the others reached the aliens. They jumped on the Vrak soldiers, biting and clawing. The alien suits tore like paper. They offered no protection against the lions' sharp teeth and claws. Their armor is made to stop energy weapons, not animal attacks, Hyun realized. The Vraks began to run back to their ships. They pushed each other, trying to get away from the lions. 3 more aliens fell. The lions dragged them away. Hyun recorded everything with his phone. He could hardly believe what he was seeing. The mighty alien invaders were running from Earth's animals. When the last Vraks disappeared into their ships, Hyun sent his video to the government. Then he drove back to his office. He had an idea. Far away in Seoul, June and Ara watched Hyun's video in a room full of military officers. "You see?" June said excitedly. "The Galactic archives were right. The Vraks are not prepared for Earth's wildlife." "One pride of lions won't stop an invasion," a general said. "No, but this gives us an idea," Ara replied. "We need to use all of Earth's animals against them." The general looked doubtful. "How do we do that?" "We need to find people who work with animals," June explained. "Zookeepers, wildlife rangers, animal trainers, people like Hyun Park." The general nodded slowly. "I'll talk to the world leaders." Within days, a new plan was created. It was called Operation Wild Earth. June and Ara were put in charge. They set up their command center in a building in Seoul. People from around the world sent them information about the Vraks landings. The aliens were attacking every continent. They had landed in cities and wild areas. Reports came in from everywhere. In Australia, the Vraks were running from kangaroos that kicked their suits open. In the Amazon rainforest, swarms of insects covered their ships and got inside their equipment. In Canada, bears attacked their camps at night. But the aliens were still winning in many places. They had too many soldiers and ships. Earth needed a better way to use its animals. "We need to be more organized," June told Ara. "We need to bring the animals to where the Vraks are." Ara looked thoughtful. "We need animal experts who can control different species." They sent out a call for help. Soon people with special animal skills began to arrive in Seoul. Minji Lee was the first to come. She was 25 years old and had worked with birds since she was a child. She brought her falcon, a fast bird with sharp claws. "The Vraks helmets have 4 eye holes," she told June. "My birds can aim for those spots." Next came Taewon. He was 50 years old and had spent his life training animals for movies. He knew how to make animals do specific actions. "I can teach big animals like elephants to target the weak spots in their ships," Tae explained. More people arrived each day. Dog trainers, snake handlers, even people who worked with insects. Each brought ideas about how their animals could fight the aliens. Hyun arrived from Kenya with surprising news. "The lions have learned," he said. "They are actively hunting the Vraks now. The aliens smell different than humans, and the lions have decided they are prey." This gave June an idea. Animals learn and adapt. The longer this war goes on, the better our animals will get at fighting the aliens. Ara looked at a map showing Vraks positions around the world. "The aliens are setting up their main base outside Seoul," she said. "They think cities are safer because there are fewer wild animals." "They're wrong," Tae said with a smile. "Cities have plenty of animals. Rats, pigeons, stray dogs, insects. They're just hiding. June looked at the team of animal experts gathered around him. For the first time since the invasion began, he felt hopeful. The Vraks think they're hunting us, he said. But on Earth, they are the prey. Let's show them why Earth is called a death world. Outside, the sounds of alien ships filled the air. The battle for Earth was just beginning. But now humanity had a plan. They would use the thing that made their planet special, its animals. The Vraks were about to learn a hard lesson about invading Earth. The sun rose over Seoul, lighting up a city changed by war. Alien ships hung in the sky. Vrak soldiers patrolled the empty streets. But in a building hidden underground, Operation Wild Earth was growing stronger. June stood in front of a large screen showing a map of the world. Red dots marked places where the Vraks had landed. Blue dots showed where animal attacks had hurt the aliens. We are making progress, June told the room full of animal experts. But we need to do more. Ara pointed to the biggest red dot on the map. The main Vraks base is here, just outside Seoul. They have thousands of soldiers and at least 20 ships there. That's our target, June said. If we can defeat them there, we can win this war. Minji raised her hand. She had been training birds of prey to attack the aliens. My falcons and eagles are ready, she said. They know how to aim for the eye holes in Vraks' helmets. Good, June nodded. What about the other teams? Tay stood up. The old animal trainer had been working with zoo animals. The elephants can smash their smaller ships. Tigers and lions are learning to hunt together. Even the rhinos are ready to charge. Hyun, who had been talking to wildlife experts from around the world, spoke next. We have reports from every continent. Animals are targeting the Vraks naturally. Now, in Africa, even the buffalo are attacking them. In Australia, everything from kangaroos to crocodiles is hunting them. Another person stood up. This was Jin, a pest control expert who knew all about the animals that lived in cities. I've been collecting rats, pigeons, and stray dogs from all over Seoul, he said. The Vraks don't pay attention to small animals, but these creatures can get inside their bases. June smiled. The plan was coming together. The Federation has sent us new information, Ara said, showing pictures on the screen. The Vrak suits have weak spots here, here, and here. She pointed to areas around the joints. Their ships have air intakes here that small animals could block. One more thing, June added. The Federation says the Vraks come from a world with very few predators. They don't understand how to deal with animals that hunt them. They are becoming more and more afraid. Everyone in the room looked determined. They had spent their lives working with animals. Now those skills would help save the world. Let's begin Operation Wild Earth, June announced. Teams spread out across the city and into the countryside. Each had a special job. Minji and her bird handlers went to the hills around Seoul. They carried falcons, eagles, and hawks in special boxes. When they reached their positions, they let the birds fly. The birds circled high in the air, watching for Vraks patrols. When a group of 10 aliens walked along a road, Minji gave a signal. 20 birds dived down at amazing speed. The Vraks looked up too late. Sharp talons struck at the eye holes in their helmets. The aliens fired their weapons wildly, but the birds were too quick. Within minutes, all 10 Vraks were down. The birds flew back to their handlers for treats. Report to base, Minji said into her radio. First attack successful, no birds lost. Across the city, Tai was leading a different kind of attack. He had brought 5 elephants from the zoo. The huge animals were painted with mud to help them hide among the trees near a small Vrak ship. Remember your training, Tai whispered to the elephants. Then he gave a command. The elephants charged. They ran straight at the ship, their heavy feet shaking the ground. Vrak's soldiers saw them coming and tried to shoot them. But the elephants were too big and strong. Green energy beams didn't stop them. The first elephant hit the ship with its head. The metal dented. The second and third elephants pushed together against one side. The ship tipped over, crushing some aliens underneath. Good work, Tai said, feeding the elephants special treats. Very good work. Meanwhile, Hyun was leading a group of wildlife rangers. They had brought animals that were good at hunting. Wolves, big cats, and even some snakes. They released them near Vrax camps. The animals, specially trained to recognize the alien smell, moved silently through the forests. They attacked at night when the Vrax couldn't see well. The aliens, already scared of Earth's wildlife, began to panic. "They're calling for help," Hyun told June over the radio. "The Vrax are requesting more soldiers to deal with the animals." In the city, Jin's work was less visible but just as important. He and his team released thousands of rats into the sewers near the main Vrax base. The rats carried tiny cameras on their backs, sending pictures back to Operation Wild Earth. "We can see inside their base now," Jin reported. "And the rats are chewing through wires. Their computers are starting to fail." Jin also had teams releasing spiders, cockroaches, and other insects near Vrax ships. The tiny creatures got into everything, causing problems with equipment and making the aliens jumpy. At the command center, June and Ara watched all these reports come in. They could hardly believe how well their plan was working. "The Vrax didn't expect this," Ara said. "They thought they were fighting humans. They didn't know they were fighting all of Earth's animals too. Look at this." June pointed to a message from the Federation. "They're picking up Vrax communications. The aliens are getting scared. Some want to leave Earth. But the Vrax leaders were not ready to give up. They sent out a new order to all their forces: retreat to the main base outside Seoul. They would gather all their soldiers in one place where they thought they would be safe from animals. They're falling into our trap," June said with a smile. Ara looked worried. "They'll still have thousands of soldiers and their biggest ships there. How can we defeat them all?" "By giving them a nightmare they'll never forget," June replied. "Jin, are you ready for the next phase?" Jin's voice came through the radio. "Yes, we have everything in place. The sewers under their main base are filled with our little friends. We just need the signal." June looked at the map one more time. Animal teams were positioned all around the Vrax main base. Birds of prey circled above. Large animals waited in the forests nearby. And under the ground, thousands of rats, insects, and other small creatures were ready. "Send the signal," June ordered. "Begin the final phase of Operation Wild Earth." As the sun set over Seoul, the biggest battle of the war was about to begin. Humans and animals together would fight for their planet. The Vrax were about to learn why the Federation called Earth a death world. Night fell over the Vrax main base. The aliens had built it on flat ground outside Seoul, where they could see enemies coming. Tall walls surrounded it. Guard towers with powerful lights watched in all directions. Inside, thousands of Vrax, soldiers prepared for battle. What they didn't know was that the battle had already begun beneath their feet. Jin sat in a van 1 mile from the base. Around him, screens showed live video from tiny cameras attached to rats. The small animals moved through the sewers and pipes under the Vrax base. "Team 1 is in position," Jin said into his radio. "The rats have reached the main power lines." "Good," June's voice replied. "Wait for my signal." All around the Vrax base, humans and animals waited in the darkness. Minji and her bird handlers were on nearby hills. Tai had his elephants and other large zoo animals hidden in a forest. Hyun and his wildlife rangers had brought wolves, big, cats and other predators to the edges of the open ground. Inside the command center, June and Ara watched everything on their screens. "All teams report ready," Ara said. June took a deep breath. "Begin the attack. Jin, you go first." In his van, Jin smiled. He pressed a button on his computer. "All rat teams, begin Operation Blackout." Under the Vrax base, thousands of rats began to chew through power cables. They had been trained to target specific colored wires. Some rats carried small devices on their backs that caused electrical shorts when placed in the right spots. Inside the base, the Vrax noticed nothing at first, then lights began to flicker. Computers stopped working. Communication systems failed. The Vrax commander called for engineers to fix the problems. They opened panels in walls and floors to check the wiring. That was exactly what Jin had been waiting for. "Release the second wave," Jin ordered. More rats poured through the open panels. With them came cockroaches, spiders, centipedes, and other insects that Jin had collected from all over Seoul. The small creatures spread through the base, getting into everything. Vrax soldiers began to notice them. The aliens, already afraid of Earth's wildlife, reacted with panic. They stomped and shot at the small animals, but there were too many. Phase 1 complete, Jin reported. The base is in chaos. June nodded. Minji, begin Phase 2. On the hills, around the base, Minji and her team released their birds. Eagles, hawks, falcons, and owls flew toward the Vrax base. The night birds could see perfectly in the dark. They targeted the guards in the towers, diving at their helmet eye holes. Guards fell from the towers. Others fired wildly at the birds, but hit nothing. The powerful lights that protected the base went dark as more power failures spread. The outer defenses are down, Minji reported. The birds have done their job. Tae, Hyun, move in, June ordered. From the forest came Tae's team with the zoo animals. Elephants charged the outer walls, their massive weight and strength breaking through the metal barriers. Tigers, lions, and bears followed, entering the base through the holes. From the other side, Hyun's wildlife teams sent wolves and big cats into the base. The predators moved silently through the darkness, hunting the Vrax by their smell. Inside the base, the Vrax were losing control. Their commander shouted orders, but few soldiers listened. They were too busy dealing with the animals that seemed to be everywhere. They're breaking ranks, Ara said, watching the chaos on the screens. The Vrax military structure is falling apart. Now for the final phase, June said. Jin, are you ready? Yes, Jin replied. My team is at the sewer entrance under their main building. We have the special package. Jin and his team had spent days collecting thousands of the smallest but most annoying animals in Seoul. Mosquitoes, ants, fleas, ticks, and biting flies were kept in special containers. Now they released them into the base's air system. The tiny insects spread through the ventilation shafts. They got into the Vrax environmental suits through small openings. They bit and stung the aliens who had never developed defenses against such creatures. The Vrax commander ordered all troops to their ships. We must leave this planet, he said, his voice shaking. Earth's creatures are too dangerous. But many ships wouldn't start. Rats had chewed through important wires. Birds had built nests in engine openings. Even the ground crews were too busy, swatting at insects to fix the problems. From the command center, June watched as the Vrax began to run. They left their base, fleeing into the countryside. But that was no safer. Wild animals were waiting for them there. We're picking up Vrax communications, Ara said excitedly. Listen to this. She played a recording of Vrax soldiers talking. Their translated voices sounded terrified. The humans control these creatures, one alien said. They send them to hunt us. How can we fight a planet where everything is a weapon? Another asked. If their animals are this dangerous, what monsters must the humans themselves be? A third voice wondered. June couldn't help but smile. The Galactic archives had been right. To aliens from worlds with safer animals, Earth's wildlife was terrifying. The Vrax commander is calling for a full retreat, Ara announced. Their ships in orbit are preparing to leave Earth. Outside the base, humans watched as the remaining Vrax ships managed to take off. They flew shakily, some trailing smoke, up into the night sky. June turned to the animal experts gathered in the command center. You've done it, he said. You and Earth's animals have saved our world. Cheers filled the room. People hugged each other. Some cried with relief. Later that night, when the celebration had quieted, June and Ara stood on the roof of their building. They watched the last Vrax ships disappear into space. Do you think they'll come back? Ara asked. I don't think so, June replied. They'll tell others about Earth, about our weapons. Our animals, Ara said with a smile. Yes. The creatures we've lived alongside for thousands of years. The beings that the Federation feared so much they called Earth a death world. In the distance, they could hear wolves howling. Overhead, night birds flew silently. In the city, below, millions of small creatures went about their lives. We should thank them, June said. Without Earth's animals, we would have lost this war. The next morning, they received a message from the Federation. Ambassador Krell wanted to meet with them. Earth had won its first galactic war, And now the rest of the galaxy wanted to talk. The Battle of Sol had changed everything. Earth was no longer seen as a primitive world. It was now known as something much more impressive, a planet of terrifying wildlife and the humans who had evolved alongside them. A planet that even the mighty Vrax feared. 6 months after the Vrax fled Earth, things had changed. The Federation ship that once scared people now looked normal in the sky above Sol. Humans and aliens walked together in the streets. Earth had joined the Galactic Federation as its 18th member. June stood in a large room aboard the Federation ship. He wore a new uniform with a special patch showing Earth and its animals. Around him stood other humans who had fought in the war. Yun, Minji, Tae, Jin, and Ara were all there. Ambassador Krell entered the room. The blue alien looked at the humans with all 4 of its eyes. "Today marks a special day," Ambassador Krell said. "Earth officially becomes part of the Federation, but you will have a unique role among our worlds." The ambassador touched a screen, and an image appeared. It showed the Galactic Archives with a new section labeled Earth Wildlife Warden. "The Council has created a new position for Earth," Krell explained. "You will be the wildlife wardens of the galaxy." June looked confused. "What does that mean?" "Your people understand dangerous animals in ways no other species does," Krell said. "You will help protect Federation worlds from dangerous wildlife and—" The alien paused. "If needed, you will use your animals to defend us." Hyun stepped forward. "You want us to use Earth's animals as weapons?" "Only if absolutely necessary," Krell replied. "The Vrax are still out there. They have attacked 12 other worlds before Earth. You are the first to defeat them." The humans looked at each other. This was not what they had expected. "We have created a new military branch," Krell continued. "The Terrestrial Wildlife Defense Corps. Hyun Park will be its first commander." Hyun looked surprised. "Me?" "Your understanding of predators made the difference in the war," Krell said. "The Federation needs your skills." Hyun nodded slowly. "I accept." "What about the rest of us?" Ara asked. "You and June will continue your work with the Galactic Archives," Krell said. "There is much to learn about Earth's wildlife that other worlds should know." "And me?" Minji asked. "You will be Earth's ambassador to the Federation core worlds," Krell told her. "Your birds will accompany you." Minji smiled. Her falcon sat on her shoulder, watching the aliens with sharp eyes. "The birds do make meetings end quickly," she joked. "What about me?" Jin asked. "Your knowledge of small creatures is unique," Krell said. "You will help design defenses against tiny invaders for Federation worlds." Jin nodded, pleased that his rats and insects would be important. "And me?" Tae asked last. "You will train others in animal handling," Krell explained. "Your skills with many species are remarkable." Tae bowed, accepting the role. After the meeting, June and Ara returned to their new office in the archives section. The room was filled with screens showing information about Earth's animals. "Did you ever think our jobs as animal scientists would lead to this?" Ara asked. "Never," June replied. "I thought we would spend our lives in labs, studying normal things. Now we're helping aliens understand why they should be afraid of puppies." Ara laughed. June brought up an image on his screen. It showed a simple dog, a golden retriever. "The archive's description of this animal used to call it a relentless pursuit predator," June said. "Now we need to help them understand that it's also a friendly companion. The Federation species have lived without dangerous animals for so long," Ara said. "They can't imagine living with them like we do." "That's our advantage," June replied. "We evolved on a death world. It made us strong." The next day, Minji prepared for her first trip to the Federation core worlds. Her falcon, named Sky, sat on her arm as she packed. "You're going to scare a lot of aliens, Sky," she told the bird, with a smile. When she arrived at her first diplomatic meeting, the alien representative sat far away from her and Sky. When one alien spoke too long, Sky ruffled his feathers and stared at the alien. The meeting ended quickly after that. "Earth's ambassador is very effective," one alien told another. "Her weapon is very well trained." Minji tried not to laugh. Sky wasn't a weapon. He was her friend. But the aliens didn't understand that yet. Meanwhile, Hyun was building the new Wildlife Defense Corps. Soldiers and animal handlers from around Earth joined the program. They trained with dogs, cats, birds, and many other animals. Our job is to protect, not just to fight, Hyun told them. Earth's animals are not just weapons. They are our partners. The soldiers learned to work with animals of all sizes. Some specialized in big predators like lions and bears. Others worked with birds or sea creatures. Some, following Jin's example, trained with the smallest animals, insects, spiders, and rodents. Jin himself was busy teaching Federation scientists about Earth's tiny creatures. The aliens were amazed at how much damage a simple rat could do to their technology. Your ships aren't designed to keep out small animals, Jin explained. On Earth, we've been fighting that battle for thousands of years. Tay traveled to zoos, around the world, finding people who could train animals for the program. He showed them how different species could work together with humans. Animals understand more than most people think, Tay told his students. They can be partners, not just tools. 1 year after the Vrax War, Earth had changed. Humans now traveled to other worlds. Federation ships brought aliens to visit Earth, though most stayed in special protected areas, afraid of the wildlife. We charge them a lot of money to see our animals, June told Ara, as they watched a group of aliens taking pictures of normal squirrels in a park. Ecotourism has become Earth's biggest business. They're terrified but fascinated, Ara said. Just like humans at a zoo. In the Galactic archives, the entry about Earth had been updated. Earth, a death world with extremely dangerous wildlife, home to humans, a species that evolved alongside predators and now keeps them as companions. Approach with extreme caution. The only thing more dangerous than Earth's wildlife are the humans who consider them pets. The last line had been added by Ambassador Krell after seeing Minji petting her falcon while it stared at him. 3 years after the war, news came that the Vrax were planning to attack another Federation world. Before they could launch their ships, Earth sent a message. The wildlife wardens are ready to defend. Attached was a video showing thousands of Earth animals, from tiny spiders to massive elephants, trained for war. The Vrax canceled their attack. In his office, June read the report with satisfaction. We've become the galaxy's scariest species, he told Ara. Not because of our technology, but because of who we share our world with. And because we're crazy enough to pet lions and play with wolves, Ara added with a smile. Exactly, June agreed. The Galactic archives were right all along. Earth is a death world, but it's our death world. And now the galaxy knows it. Outside his window, a simple bird sang in a tree. To most humans, it was ordinary. To the rest of the galaxy, it was one of Earth's many terrifying weapons, and that made all the difference.